with courage in his heart, a beacon of hope. He's ready to start, with faith as his armor and a fire in his soul. Alpha Red stands tall, fulfilling his role. Alpha Red, the hero we need, with the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread, for the world is safe with Alpha Red. Red. In a world full of chaos, where evil may lurk, he fights for the righteous, his mission and work. Guided by God, with strength from above, he battles the darkness with unyielding love. Alpha Red, the hero we need, with the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread, for the world is safe with Alpha Red. Alpha Red. When the night seems too long and hope seems so far, look to the skies, you'll see his bright star. With a prayer and a promise, he faces the fight. Alpha Red shines through, the beacon of light. Alpha Red, the hero we need, with the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread, for the world is safe with Alpha Red. So stand tall with courage, let your faith lead the way. With Alpha Red beside us, we'll see a brighter day. For evil may tremble, but never forget, the world is protected by our hero, Alpha Red. Alpha Red. Alpha Red.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for showing up. Welcome to the Alpha Red Comic Channel. I am your host, James Nguyen. Friends, I am glad that you are here. We're going to do a little something different today. We're going to jump right in and draw. So grab your number 2 pencil. Nothing special. Number 2 pencil. Grab your erasers. Because we're just going to talk while we draw. Because I didn't like not being able to finish a picture. And I'm going to guess that you are going to tell me if I'm having technical difficulties. So it looks like everything's a go. I'm assuming everything is honky-dory. And we'll talk about everything. We'll talk about Ninja Turtles. They're 40 years old. This is what's on the drawing board. I'm bringing it over by the magic of the YouTubes and the technology. And if I can get the wires out of the way. It would have been more seamless, for sure. All right, we got that going. Don't mind me. I'm a professional here. Because all it takes is a camera and a microphone and a YouTube account, and you can draw live, and it is just as fun as it looks. And we're switchity switch. Bam. Here you are. And we're just going to jump right in. Here's our guy, Raphael. He is a lot of people's favorite turtle. Not my favorite turtle, but I like them all. So he's not a turtle that I like. So, but we're going to start with Raphael because, honestly, in this comic, it's a Raphael story. So this is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. Just came out this Wednesday. We can talk about it. We can talk about whether I liked it or not. We can talk about Deadpool Wolverine. We can talk about all kinds of stuff. So we're just going to jump right in. And as we go, we'll talk about all the other things too. So if you're new to the channel, what I like to do with these drawings, and they happen to be on sketch covers here. I'm kind of addicted to these sketch covers. Let me check here. Let me get out of here. Make sure they'll be okay. All right. I don't know if I'm going to get any technical help from the other room or not, but that's fine. So with these drawings, I tend to do them on sketch covers right now as my obsession for the moment. But they won't always be on sketch covers. But I do the composition beforehand, and much like other times, well, maybe not. Well, I forget what I was gonna say, so forgive me. I did this while I was sitting at my local comic book shop yesterday. Yesterday I had a store signing down at Funky Town Comics and Vinyl in Camillus, New York. So if you are in central Pennsylvania, I grew up in central Pennsylvania, and now I live in central New York. So excuse me as I fumble around whether I'm in New York or Pennsylvania, because I do go back and visit every now and again. So, but I live in central New York. So if you are in central New York and you are looking for a cool comic book store, check out Funky Town Comics and Vinyls. They have all kinds of stuff. It was really eye-opening to see all the cool toys and stuff that they had. Vintage toys, G.I. Joe, Transformers. What was it? What did they have that I was like in shock? They had the Lion Castle from Voltron. I was like, wow. I don't know if I even remember. I can't think. I don't know that I knew that Voltron had a Lion Castle toy. The thing was huge. Not huge enough to house the lions, of course, but yeah. So this comic just came out on Wednesday. It is a #1 issue, so you would think that you're getting something brand new, but I was very confused. Like I was missing like a bunch of the story, and after listening to a couple of reviews online, apparently it just picks up where issue number 150 left off. So I'm not sure why they renumbered it. Well, I mean, I know why, because they're trying to get you to buy into a #1. But I don't know why they wouldn't just make the current story here number 151. Because I was completely lost. And people who were reviewing it were familiar with the old storyline that just ended. And they said it's just a continuation. This #1 is actually just a continuation of the Ninja Turtles that IDW was doing previous. So I felt a little hoodwinked, because I thought that this was going to be a reset or a reboot. I was a little lost. I got out of picking up the Ninja Turtle comics a couple of years ago. I mean, it got too, I don't know, the drawing was okay. I remember the drawing being okay, but the writing just was not grabbing me. And it was kind of easy to let go at some point when I was running out of money. And so I had not thought about them for a long time, comic-wise anyway. I know that they've had cartoons and they've had shows and things in the past couple years that kind of try to reboot it. And now with their 40th anniversary, they turned 40 this year. They came out in 1984. How old were you in 1984? How old were you? I was 9 when the Ninja Turtles were invented. I just did that math before I came on, so I had something to talk about. But I didn't discover them until I was probably 12 or 13 when the cartoon came out. And once the cartoon came out, I had a friend, oddly enough, from karate class who told me then that they were a comic book first. And I was like, oh, I had no idea. I think I'm going to bring this sigh out front here. I did not. So, did I finish the thought for the new people that I do the composition beforehand? Just because it takes a different level of, different part of the brain or something. Even though I'm drawing now, you would think I'm using my creative part of my brain, and I probably am, but like to be able to do all this technology stuff, like the left brain is kind of active, I think. If I'm thinking about it right, the less artistic, creative side is happening. But so creating the composition on this would be a little bit more difficult and more time consuming. So if you're out there, I see somebody just tuned in, just say hi so that I don't feel like I'm talking to the wind here. I appreciate you showing up, and I am celebrating this relaunch of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But there's a lot of things going on this weekend that we could talk about. Talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. We could talk about Robert Downey Jr. coming back to the MCU. I don't know if you guys heard that news. We can talk about the Olympics, like the WTF was going on. What were they thinking? We can talk about any of that if you are here and hanging out. But we're going to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for right now until somebody pops in and says hello, and we can talk about anything else that you might want to talk about. So I remember loving the cartoon and then discovering the comic book and just really being inspired by the fact that they were just a black and white independent company. And now it's like a $15 billion IP, intellectual property. And very inspiring. Not that I have delusions of grandeur for our guy Alpha Red. I don't. I don't have any delusions of grandeur that he is going to be a $1 billion IP. But I don't think anybody knows what is going to hit. So I'm just going to keep having fun and plugging away at creating new Alpha Red comics. And if something happens, fantastic. But if it doesn't, I had fun anyway. I don't want to be disappointed with because Alpha Red never became a movie or a toy line or doesn't get the kind of recognition or become as recognizable. I don't mean recognition as achievements, but recognizable as like a mainstream character like Spider-Man or Batman or whatever. Like, I don't have my hopes set that high, so I live in the real world. But my goal here is to finish a whole picture. Within this hour. Like, I can draw pretty fast, relatively speaking. I didn't know that I drew fast until I saw how. I don't want to tell other people that they're slow, but I'm faster. And so I should be able to finish a pretty good picture in the hour that I allot myself on these 8 o'clock draw streams. So if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, because that helps the algorithm. That's what everybody says. So I'm just going to repeat everybody. I'm just going to say that if you hit that like button, that it'll show it to more people, and it'll have farther reach, and then Alpha Red will be that in that many more homes. Is this crooked? Let me see if I can fix that. Does that bother you? I know if I were you, it would bother me. There you go. Is that better? Does it even matter? Probably not. Anyway. But yeah, so I have always, Ninja Turtles have always been one of my favorite IPs. It's up there with Spider-Man. I like to say Batman, but I don't think I collect as much Batman as I thought. I like the idea of Batman. I like the movies. I like the 1989 movie was like a huge deal for me. I remember going from 8th grade to 9th grade, and that's the summer it came out, and I was just kind of blown away. I think I watched it twice in the theater, and I had no money, but I was babysitting my cousins for the summer, which just meant that I lived with my uncle, and I walked them down to camp every day. And they gave me $20 a week. And back then, that was like gold. But I was very lazy. Probably not even worth the $20 a week that they were giving me. I mean, yeah, $20 a week. And then they tried to pay me to mow the lawn, and I had no idea what I was doing, even in 8th grade. So if you're a parent out there, make your kids mow the lawn so they know what they're doing. I love mowing the lawn now. So, but anybody out there? Anybody care to say hello? How you doing? So, this week was a pretty fun week. I started off this week going to the library, the Solvay Public Library. Solvay is almost Syracuse. I don't know. If you look it up, sometimes it says Solvay, sometimes it says Syracuse, but I think people in Solvay like to think that they are Solvay people. So, but yeah, it's a suburb of Syracuse, and I met all kinds of cool people there. They did a really good job. Brian, shout out to Brian who invited me. Shout out to Funky Town Comics and Vinyls, who I'd already shouted out. But they were also there at the library, and that was fun. That was it's only about an hour and a half, but a lot of kids came out. I got to talk to a lot of parents. If you were there, if you're finding my channel because I was trying to pimp it out at the library. Because you saw me at the library, met me at the library? Well, thank you. Thank you for searching out the channel. Nobody took a picture of the QR code. Came up with a QR code to bring you right to this here channel so you can learn to draw, or at least draw with me. I don't know how much I'm teaching anybody. Learning through osmosis. You have to learn through your eyeballs. But I hope that, you know, you can, as you're watching the technique that I have, that you can see what needs to be done. I think I'm actually done with this for the pencils. See, I told you I'm kind of quick. So what I'm doing here is I'm gonna take a picture of the pencil version because I don't have a pencil version. Click, clickety click. So that I have documentation of what it looks like in pencil. And then we're gonna go to these Pigma Micron pens. So my favorite right now is a size number 3. That's what I've been using for my comic book. Here's a good spot for maybe stopping and showing you the obligatory. I promise, working on Alpha Red number 6. So you've seen these pages, but you're also going to see the page 11 and the pencils for page 12. So there's page 4. That's our demon Fangnar. He goes and, well, I don't want to describe too much of it for you because I don't want you to get too many ideas and figure it out, you know. So, getting some gadgets. This is my new cool thing called, what do I call it? Skyblade. Skyblade. My writer, Ray McKay, is very excited that we're using Mr. US in the comic. So I don't know if you saw this last week. I'm pretty sure you did, but if you didn't, there it is. And then this is the new one, page 11. I'm not going to describe too much or tell you too much of what's going on, but for this one here, I will tell you that this is our bad guy. That's his entrance right there. And his name is Dr. Disastro. Dr. Disastro. Coming at ya. But that was the interlude. That was the commercial for Alpha Red. So if you want to stay ahead of Alpha Red and get caught up, let me see something here. I really liked how she was doing the mask. So it reminded me of the movie. So I don't know if you can see the artwork here. The artwork is okay. The reviews that I saw, 2 guys reviewed it, and they were kind of tripping over themselves with the artwork. And as an artist, when I look at it, I go, a lot of it looks photo traced, which I'm not hating on photo tracing, but like some of it is like, I don't know, if it works, it works, but like this looks photo traced. This to me is obviously photo traced, even the hands, I don't know. So on a scale of 1 to 10 for this book, I honestly would just give it a 5. It was very confusing, and I don't know, it was heavy on the exposition, a lot of narrative, and the dialogue wasn't really strong either. I don't understand. I know that Jason Aaron is supposed to be a big name over at DC, but I was not feeling it. Not feeling it on this one. I'm more of a Marvel guy anyway, but he's not he's not winning me over to DC. I think he was doing either Superman or Batman or something. And that's what I mean, that I'm not a huge Batman fan, because I don't really buy that many Batman books, honestly. I had, Batman Hush, because that was drawn by Jim Lee. But I don't remember regularly buying Batman, even though I tell people that he's one of my favorite characters. So, all right. So, I met some really cool people. That was Monday. I was telling you about my week. Monday did the Library Comic-Con. And Brian over there did a good job of just having some activities for the kids. And the kids stuck around, They looked like they had fun. And they stuck around and played the video games. They took the pictures. They had raffle stuff. All kinds of fun things. And then I had the store signing over here at my local comic shop. And it was a beautiful day out. I don't blame them at all for not getting anybody through the door. I would not have been there if I hadn't already told some people that I was going to be there. And so people showed up for me. So I am eternally grateful for all the people who came out specifically to pick up Alpha Red and to meet me and say hi. That was a treat. That's a treat because it's local people, and they're just supporting me. Nobody knows who I am, and nobody knows who Alpha Red is. So for them to come out just to support a local creator who happens to be at a comic book store that they go to, that was awesome. Had some great conversations about comics, about movies. So speaking of, if you're out there in the chat and you have seen the Deadpool movie, I would be curious to hear what you thought. Because at the comic book store, of course, people were coming in looking for Deadpool and Wolverine comics because they had just come from the movie theater. And so they were looking for some comics. Some comics of the guys that they enjoyed the movie. So I don't know. You tell me. Did you see the movie? And did you care for the movie? You don't want to skimp on these. On using the ruler for some of this stuff. I know a lot of guys can freehand stuff pretty straight, and I can in a pinch, and probably passable, but see, like this isn't lined up, and that would just grind on me. So here we go. We're gonna do a little bit of this, and then because that's kind of close, but that was oofy. What am I thinking there? But there it is. Tell me, can you guys hear the music? I'm hearing the music, and I'm feeling it. But if you're not hearing the music, I'm just going to take these headphones off because my head's getting hot. but I do like the music. It adds something to the experience. So if you don't know about Alpha Red, he is my creator-owned comic book. Let's make it a little bit more sharp. Sharpen that up. I describe Alpha Red as Peter Parker as Captain America on a James Bond adventure. Wes is our hero. Wes is the secret identity of Alpha Red, and he is your friendly neighborhood handyman. And he gets chosen for an experiment, and he gets a chip implanted into his brain that makes him super fast, super strong, and super smart. And just like Captain America. And they give him some gadgets, give him a super car, they give him a super suit, and he has to stop the evil Omega Red, the evil Omega Black from taking over the world. And Omega Black is a transforming robot tank piloted by Satan. That's right. So Satan, 40 years ago, was betrayed by his right-hand demon, Ashby, and cast into the body of a mortal and then made immortal. So Satan's been walking around with no supernatural powers for the past 40 years, but he can't be killed. And so he has created for himself an army of transforming robot tanks. And he's going to take over the world anyway. So that's the gist of it. Alpha Red gets his powers, and he is called upon to stop Omega Black from doing what he wants to do, take over the world. So that's a bit of a mystery. Who is Satan? What does Satan look like? Why can't he be found? Why can't our other heroes in this universe figure out who he is and try to stop him? So that's the gist of Alpha Red. And you can pick that up at alpharedcomic.com. You can pick up all 5 issues of his origin story. I am now working on issue number 6. And I am having lots of fun. And I just showed you the upcoming pages. So it's just going to be fun and funny and exciting. I added a bunch of action. I want to say that now I have recently figured out or been kind of inspired to think about different aspects of a story to improve the story. Like, what makes a good story? What's going on, Brother Matt? Great to see you yesterday, man. Colors then ink. Yeah, I was trying that with a couple of other things here. I was looking at an old one that I was trying to do that with, and then for whatever reason I stopped and never got back to it. But bro, I do know what you're talking about, and I have heard. I've tried it with other pictures before. It's just for these Drawstreams, I'm just not comfortable with my markers yet. I do have a new set of markers. My wife did buy me a new set of markers. And so I should maybe the next one I'll give it a try. But I appreciate the suggestion, because that is something that I've tried and I've thought of and should probably try again. Just had one of these up earlier. I had to ink after the colors. Yeah, so it does, like, it drowns out the darkness of the inks, so you end up re-inking and to make the inks pop. So I get it. I get it's good advice. Good advice for sure, man. But yeah, no, I went ahead and got 4 of these sketch covers because I want to do a sketch cover for each turtle. Erasing also picks up some of the inks too. Yep, unfortunately. Where's my ruler? Yep. So I don't know how to get past that, especially with the interior pages, because that does frustrate me. Especially, I showed you yesterday the size that I'm doing them at. It's smaller, and so it matters. Like when I go to erase, and it lightens the dark lines. My colorist is doing a pretty good job of just coloring it, but it does lack that oomph of having the darker inks. But yeah. So, did you, Matt, if you're still here, watch the Deadpool movie? I forget if you chimed in. I know Jeff was saying no spoilers, but I have since watched some reviews, and there are some mixed reviews. I thought for sure it was just going to be a banger. Like, everybody was just going to love it. It's going to be $1 billion movie, no problem. It showed all the signs, but because of the mixed reviews, I'm not feeling the FOMO. Yeah, saw it on Friday night. Solid 8 out of 10. I do remember you saying that. Yeah. So, I mean, I thought for sure, just the way that everybody was talking, that everybody was excited about it. So how about the other news? The Robert Downey Jr. news. Did you hear that? He's coming back to the MCU as Victor Von Doom. Like, what? What is going on? Like I love the presentation. I love how they did the surprise. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. And then the more I think about it, the more I'm like, why? Don't do that. Don't come back as another character. Like, that's, I don't know. I was shocked. I was like excited at first, and then I was like, should I be excited? I see some people complaining that it offended them, and I'm like, it's a Deadpool movie. Yeah, you know what you're getting, for sure. I watched the first Deadpool movie when where it could be censored, and so you could choose what was censored out of there. And I had no idea, because I had never used this censoring site before, and so I had to take out just anything that I thought might be offensive to me. And it took away 26 minutes of the movie. I had no idea what was going on, so I did have to back it off and rewatch it just without the bad language, because I didn't care too much about the violence. It's movie violence. I can tell the difference. I'm not super offended by extreme violence, but all the cursing and stuff is not my taste. And I had to rewatch it because I could not understand what was going on. It would jump from one scene to the next, and I'm like, I missed a whole bunch of stuff. They must have been cursing up a storm in this part. But yeah, no, it is what it is, you know. if there's a censored version, I'd like to see it. I heard it was a really funny action movie, and I'm down. I'm down for that. But the rated R stuff, it just, you know, to me, I just know that some parents are just, they don't have the discernment to say, hey, it's probably not for my kid, and just let the kid watch it. I actually have a friend who did that. He's like, wow, I didn't know it was going to be this bad. Like, bro, it's rated R. This was for Deadpool number 2, I think. Deadpool 2. He said that, and I was like, did you see number 1? You saw number 1, and you didn't think to kind of watch it before you brought your 12-year-old? But, you know, and, you know, part of the discussion is that good for the industry? You know, maybe it does make $1 billion, but is it good for, like, the mindset of, like, parents letting their kids go into comic book stores and picking something out? Complaining, I'm mixed on it. If they do the infamous Iron Man angle, I'm good with it, as long as he's not the definitive Doom. The Walking Dead had a lot of parents complaining when it aired too. Yeah, you kind of have to know what you're getting into. And like I said, like, is that ultimately good or bad for the industry? You know, when parents could just used to be able to let your kid pick out whatever. But because comics are not sold in the grocery store, the drugstore, or wherever, it can hide behind a comic book store, you know, with more adult themes, and it's up to the comic store owners, whatever policy, to allow the kids to do it or not. I worked at a comic book store, and I didn't know that some of the comics were starting to get bad, and a mom came in and complained that I let her son buy something bad, and I had no idea. I mean, maybe I did. I was 19, 20. What do I know? I was reading that stuff. So the trust, I think, is what is lost. And so if the trust is lost, then the kid has to find it, like, later on in life. And by that time, he's finding girls, and he's finding video games and all kinds of other stuff. If we can't get past the mom and dad barrier, just like Disney, you know, they're putting sexualized stuff in there, and people are like, wait a minute, you know, I thought this was like safe for my kids. And I don't know. I think a lot of parents don't understand the content their kids consume across all media. That is very true, sir. Very, very true. And, you know, I don't know what the answer is, because, you know, the genie's out of the bottle. There's no way you're putting the toothpaste back in the tube without a lot of heavy-handed regulation, and nobody's gonna put up with that. You know, people like their freedoms, but the cat's out of the bag. I don't know. It's just up to people now. I know that people get excited when I tell them that that my book doesn't have any swear words in it, and it's safe for the kids. Parents are very apt to give it a try. But I mean, I didn't even know. I don't know how much of that was going into my brain when I started it. You know, started Alpha Red. I just knew that I was gonna make a Christian themed action hero comic, you know, superhero comic, and I knew that I wasn't gonna swear. I mean, I try not to. I'm not saying I'm perfect, and an F-bomb doesn't slide out every now and again when things get rough. But but yeah, it's different people with different temperaments. I remember I was talking to Jesse and Mustache Mike. We were talking about this right before Jesse left yesterday about how do we get kids back, and they stopped making like cartoons and stuff like the X-Men where kids would find the comics and the cartoons. That's how I found Ninja Turtles, because of the cartoon. And then I came back and looking for the comic. And so they don't make cartoons that air on normal free TV anymore, like the X-Men. And I remember just a couple months ago, maybe a year or two ago, where there was a cool Batman cartoon coming out, and there was like a lot of swearing in the trailer. And I was like, how am I going to share this with my kids? How am I going to... I want to share it with my kids. I want to share my hobby with my kids, but it just... they make it hard, for sure. There's got to be content for people of all walks of life and backgrounds. Yeah. And I get that that can be at the comic book store, but they should have like kid-friendly stuff that you can get at the grocery store. And then if you're really into it and you're looking for back issues, or you're looking for more adult, just grittier stuff, you can go to the comic book store. And I mean, that's how I found my stuff. I think Marvel and DC, when they abandoned the distribution to supermarkets and everywhere else, and just went with the local comic store model, they kind of loosened the reins on, making stuff for an entry level content for young kids. I mean, maybe you can do it now. I mean, I wouldn't be against them giving it another shot, but I don't know how hard it is to get all that distribution back, so that parents can thumb through it at the grocery store, so the kid can fall in love with comics, and so they can search out the more mature stuff when they're more mature. So it's tough. Like there's no I don't think there's a one size fits all kind of answer to it. Let's see what time it is. Yeah, 15 more minutes. So Matt, I forgot that I am going to. You asked me what my next show is, and did I tell you that I was doing? Maybe I did tell you that I'm doing the Lehigh Valley Comic Con in Schnecksville on the 10th of August. So for anybody out there who's watching this video and you live near Schnecksville, that's in Pennsylvania. That's the Lehigh Valley. The Lehigh Valley, around Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Allentown. And I heard Karen does a good show. Yeah, so that one is coming up in 2 weeks. Not this Saturday coming up, but the following Saturday, the 10th. And I was honored. They reached out to me, and I am a featured guest. So the last time I was there, I had to pay. So that was many, many moons ago, because when I moved up to New York, that was not on my radar anymore, because it was a smaller one-day show. But she has now branched out. She does a 2-day show. She did a 2-day show. I don't know if it didn't go well. Actually, I know Chris Ring, a buddy of mine, said that it did do well. The 2-day show did do well. At least he did. But he's an anomaly. He's a hustler. He hustles to make sure that he does well. He lines commissions up ahead of time. So he's already making money by the time he shows up at a convention. He's just delivering some commissions. So I've taken some of that into account, and I'm reaching out to people right now actually to see if they will be at the Schnecksville Lehigh Valley Con and if they would like a commission. So I don't always do commissions just because my priority is Alpha Red and the next issue of Alpha Red. But yeah, if you know Chris, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. I met Chris. I told my wife, I've known him longer than I've known her, because he stayed at my house in March for the Syracuse Collectors Con. And she's like, can we trust him? And she's met him a couple times, but never, I mean, I've stayed in hotel rooms with him at conventions and stuff. And she's like, I don't know, he's going to be here. I'm like, girl, I've known him longer than I've known you. So, but yeah. So I will probably not have time to color this here, which I don't mind because I want to do a good scan of the sketches that I do on the live stream. And it's just not, would not be cool if I just stopped and started scanning my inks. So I want to keep going. Just keep going. And he was at Collectors Con. I didn't get a chance to really walk around. Yeah, he was right behind. He was right next to me, so he was right behind you. Yeah. So, and he came and he had people from this area. Like I don't know how he got connected with people in this area. I think he was at the Finger Lakes, one of the Finger Lakes conventions, and was able to kind of wrangle in some new commission customers. And he reaches out to those people when he's in the area and say, hey, if you want to save on shipping, I'm going to be in the area, I can deliver it to you. And he had a bunch of bites before he even got here. So he's the OG. Now he came around my comic book store that I was working at in the late 90s, early 2000s. And yeah, it had been late 90s because I met my wife in the late 90s also. But he came and he was hawking his independent book way back when called Carbon Night. And we hit it off, and he was telling me about all the shows that he does and stuff. But he's a great guy. Great guy. And he retired. He doesn't look that old, and he's not that old. I don't know what his retirement, I don't know how he worked that out, but that he's officially retired. So he like kind of works full time doing commissions and comics and stuff. He actually has a comic called Alan Quartermain something. It's like Indiana Jones, when Indiana Jones used to be good. It was such a fun book, and I hope he continues the book, but I don't think he has any plans to. So he does have some independent stuff that he kind of puts out, but for the most part he just does commissions. So he's able to turn them around pretty quick, and so people like the speed at which he turns his commissions around. And he's relatively cheap, you know, for what you get, like full color stuff, and his inks are just so good. He has really solid lines as far as inks, and he just has a professional finished look to his stuff. So much so that I accused him of photoshopping a lot of stuff. We used to do these drawstreams, these competitions, not drawstreams, these art contests, and you weren't allowed to use anything digital. And he would turn these in, and I'm like, bro, no digital, no photoshopping. And he's like, I don't Photoshop. I was like, get out of town. He's just that professional. Like his line work is just so good. All right. I think I'm going to call that one done. Yeah, so that gives me a little bit of time to show off something that I forgot that I was working on this. This is actual original art here. And I found one of these blank books, right? And it's meant for art. And apparently last year, 2023, I was going to create just a thing for myself here. And I have all the sketches in all these blank pages. And this is how much I love the turtles, because I was just going to do it on my own for myself. You know, nothing, no, there's nobody commissioning me to do that. But I'm gonna call this one done for the Drawstream. But here's some. While I was sitting at Funky Town Comics and Vinyls here in Camillus, New York, plug, I sketched out some of the other drawings that I will be working on here in the future. But because Raphael was the subject of the story, I went with Raphael. I appreciate that, Matt. Thank you. So I finished that. I mean, I did the composition for all 4 of these. Then I was able to finish up my my page 11. I don't know. I think I showed you that. And then I started my pencils on page 12. So super happy with what's going on there. Do I want to? Haha, there is another unfinished that I would love to peck away at for the next 5 minutes while we talk. So, but yeah, I do want to finish this. I chipped away at this while I'm talking to my customers, my clients on the phone. And if they're long-winded and they're just telling me whatever, or I'm on a conference call and I'm not expected to talk, I'll just pull this out and kind of mess with it. And so it's been a long time since I've gotten back to it, just because I've actually had a lot of work to do. So just not a lot of time to noodle with this. But I've been chomping at the bit. It peaks out every now and again when I move my paperwork around. So what do you, Matt, if you're still there, what do you think of the Scarlet miniseries here? Are you digging it? I'll save my opinion of it. I have not done this for a Drawstream. This has just been kind of a fun side thing, and I was loving all of the Energon stuff. So I just jumped right into Destro and Scarlet here, and I'll let you know that I thought this was not my favorite. This was probably my least favorite. Actually, I don't know. Between Destro, Destro, I picked up number 2 because I want to give it a try. I still want to give it a chance, but it's kind of boring. And Scarlet, I just didn't realize she was like a ninja. I don't know. It just didn't feel like Scarlet. I haven't started reading it yet. Busy, but I love what-eyed of the Energon universe so far. Yep, I was in the same boat. I'm not saying this was a bad comic. I'm just saying it didn't feel like Scarlet. And I don't, So, and number 2 was not as good as number 1, in my opinion. Because at the end, I was like, oh, that's the end? Like, I don't even really know what's going on. But, I want to give it a chance. So I'll probably get number 3. I don't know if Destro doesn't pick pick up. I just don't know if I will pick up any more Destro. It was that bad. The first one, to me, was that bad. But I picked up number 2. I give number 2 a chance. It was just a big yawn fest, you know. But like, I'm with you. I'm with you. I like pretty much everything that the Energon universe has been doing. But yeah, I don't know why I'm addicted to these sketch covers. I think you turned me on to these, Matt, at the Syracuse Con. I picked up that Duke, picked up the Spawn, and I picked up, I think I picked up a third one from you. And I was like, man, it just feels, I don't know. It's not that the paper's any different or whatever, but to be able to open the book and then, you know, see the character just feels cool. And I've been using my Alpha Red #1 sketch covers as a way to kind of market Alpha Red a little bit. You know, the idea is you get a cool picture of, like, say, a Deadpool or whatever, a Wolverine, and you get a chance to read an issue #1 of Alpha Red. And I've sold 3 or 4 of them, so I hope it's working. Maury said I have reasons I can draw Jinx on the cover. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, they're fun for sure. Yeah, and it is like having the comic like right behind the drawing right here. You know, it's like I can open it up and read the story from this original art that I drew on. So, all right, brother man. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate anybody else who's been out there hanging with me and watching me draw the Ninja Turtle. Here you go. This Raphael, super fun. I love the Ninja Turtles. 40 years of Ninja Turtles, very inspiring. I'd love for Alpha Red to become a quarter, a percentage of the success that Ninja Turtles has gotten. But dare to dream. I don't expect it, but it would be nice. So every week, guys, every week at 8 o'clock on a Sunday, I do these draw streams, and we can talk about anything you want. We could have talked about the Olympics or whatever. But I appreciate you guys hanging out. John, what's going on, brother? I appreciate you popping in and saying hi. No, I hope you were here and catching some of this drawing. So if you haven't subscribed yet, guys, please hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already, hit the like button to make the YouTube algorithms spread it out, or whatever they say. So I appreciate you guys being here. Hope to see you next week, 8 o'clock on a Sunday, Eastern Time. We'll see you. Grace and peace.
From the shadows he rises with courage in his heart, a beacon of hope. He's ready to start with faith as his armor and a fire in his soul. Alpha Red stands tall, fulfilling his role. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red. In a world full of chaos, where evil may lurk, he fights for seems too long, and hope seems so far. Look to the skies, you'll see his bright star. With a prayer and a promise, he faces the fight. Alpha Red shines through, the beacon of light. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread, for the world is safe with Alpha Red. So stand tall with courage, let your faith lead the way. With Alpha Red beside us, we'll see a brighter day. For evil may tremble, but never forget, the world is protected by our hero, Alpha Red. Alpha Red. Alpha Red.